It's said that life is a journey best traveled with friends.
Along the way are adventures and misadventures. But if you're Miz Mel's friend, you'll find some Miz adventures.
Join Miz Mel for misadventures with friends and explore the paths of friendship.
Welcome to you. I'm your hostess, Miz Mel, and today on Misadventures with Friends, I'll be visiting with Paula. Hi, Paula.
Hey, good morning.
Paula and I are getting acquainted friends.
Yes.
Yes. We've encountered each other at, you guessed it, summer camp.
Yes.
And I don't remember when I first met Paula. It could have been when I was still on staff and preoccupied with camp director duties and all that kind of thing. So pre-COVID, was it? Were you there?
No, I would. Well, no, I was post-COVID. So
Post-COVID, okay.
yeah.
So just paths crossing when I would visit camp. Okay, gotcha.
Just a wave. Hey, there's Miz Mel, and that. Okay, there she is. There she goes.
You know, we threatened the original camp staff threatened to come in all together, and I still haven't been able to get them all down there, all together in a limo, and let Brian, who used to work in our kitchen, and he was one of our camp dads, let him be our limo driver because he would ham it up. And come in wearing T-shirts that all said, "You should know who I am." We thought, well, that's not walking in humility, is it? So we passed on that. But now I have a good time just coming in and lurking in the shadows and seeing what's going on with camp and that sort of thing. But we're going to have some fun today. We're going to just do some basics of our what is friendship kind of questions with Paula and get her insight on that. And then we're going to play a little round of speed friending. You've heard of speed dating. Well, we're going to do speed friending because we don't know each other. So all the world and every listener, 500 of our closest friends, will get to hear us getting to know each other.
Oh,
yeah, that should be fun. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We might just sit here and hear crickets or that helicopter that keeps flying over my house. So we'll find out. All right. First off, standard question. What is friendship? What does friendship mean to Paula?
You know, friendship, I almost describe it, I thought about this, and I almost describe it as, you know, no matter how much time has passed between being with someone, it's someone you are with who you feel like you haven't skipped a beat, no matter how much time has passed. It's that comfort, your people. You know, we joke about it and say, I've found my people. And I've got a couple of friendships that are like that. And it just, you know, no matter how many years, long years have passed, you just feel at home with that person.
Yes, it's interesting that you said our people. In studying leadership and business practices and things for a couple of years while I was writing some curriculum material, the idea of tribe, find your tribe, what is your tribe, all that kind of thing. And I heard somebody recently say, that's what humans do. We're tribal species. Some animals have their little tribes, but people always are going to gravitate to those they share all kinds of things, life things with. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we're thrown into tribes that we didn't expect. And I think that's what camp does. And it's always interesting to see what happens when you're in a situation like that. Okay, now we got garbage trucks. And the helicopter, and now the garbage truck is beeping. A garbage truck usually comes around at 4:00 in the morning on Mondays. I don't know why, but that's always fun when the windows are open. So friendship is people bonding, sticking together through thick and thin, and distance and time passage. Have you made any new friends recently?
Oh my goodness, yes. At camp.
At camp, of course.
Yeah, of course. And like just people I have just completely fell in love with from a friendship standpoint. You just make a connection. I mean, you meet, I don't know, 100 new people at camp, and 2 friends that are really, well, 3. Yeah, 3. But 2 specifically. One, we had connected at a different camp, and just, there was just that little connection. And then we both happened to end up at our camp. And it was like, oh, it's so great to see you again. And that connection grew into that friendship. And, we call each other Camp Bestie, but we only see each other once a year. But it's that connection. It's that, I don't know, you just, it's that spiritual connection that you have with someone. And then you can just you feel like you can talk about anything, and you can relate on so many levels. And so within the last couple of years, made some friends. And then, of course, with our troop, unexpected friendships that you wouldn't expect, because at camp, y'all have that kind of a common ground. But then in our troop, I'm the outdoorsy lady. I love anything outdoors. And then we've got some great moms who are indoor moms and crafty moms, not this mom. But even though we don't connect on that level, there's just a connection, a personality, and, maybe again that, you're in something together, working towards a common goal, and, making new friends that way. So
you just brought back a camp memory to me when we were in a different camp facility. And I think it was the year we did Native American or something like that. And we built rope bridges, and we had built teepees, and we had outdoor cooking and outdoor skills just coming out our ears because we were trying to act like the Native Americans. No offense intended to anybody. We did the best we could with what we had. And we brought in some actual skills and things that would have been common to our Native American friends. But we got toward the end of camp, and I remember Camp Debbie. Debbie was our director, I think, at the time, and she came running up to me toward the end of camp. She gave me this great big hug, and she said, "Oh, Miz Mel, I just know that if you were ever out in the wilderness, you would survive because of all of your knowledge." And I just held her tight, and I said, "Please don't leave me anywhere. Please don't take me." And I think it was just, the exhaustion of camp speaking, but maybe it was my inner being really speaking. Please don't leave me out in the woods.
You wore it well.
I was like, I don't want to go out. I know I could survive, but I don't know if I have enough panic attack recovery to actually be able to implement any of those skills I was trying to teach adults and girls. Oh, my goodness. Obviously, you have a daughter by being in our camp. What sort of advice do you give our girls in the settings that you find yourself with these kids? What kind of advice do you give about friendship? Because it's tough.
It is, and fleeting.
You don't have the skills, the social skills, not social media skills. That's just one finger and a button. But the social skills to develop friendships.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think we talk a lot about, who your real friends are. I explain who acquaintances are, and when feelings get hurt and things like that, and try to help them understand big picture, big life. Like, do you, I know my daughter had some struggles with some friends, and as they went from middle school to high school, she had a group of friends in middle school, and as they get to that age, they really start to grow in their personality and their likes and types and things like that. And some of these friends were really girly girl, makeup, and love to do their hair, and that's perfect. That's who they are. And Diana wasn't that way. She's more like Mom, we're outdoorsy girls. And so she was really struggling with that. And I said, well, honey, as you grow, you're going to find people who are more like you. And those are the friendships that are going to last and are going to be the most important. And not that you're just growing as people. And as you grow in your personality and who you are, you're really going to find who your true friends are. And, we taught, and I explained a lot of times that the friends that I had in high school are friends, and my most bestest friends in junior high school and high school. I couldn't, don't talk to, we just don't have those friendships anymore. They're not in my life and I'm not in their life, and we grew apart, and that's okay. You'll do that. But there's some lasting friendships that will stay forever. But it's hard to get young girls to really understand that, because everything is so important, and it consumes their world at that age. But we try to help put it in perspective. And I'll always say, well, how many friends do you know of Mom's that I went to high school with? And she gets to know who really good friends are, just by who we hang out with, who we talk, not talk about negative, but just talk about, oh, so-and-so did this, and who we're keeping up with, and things like that. So hopefully through an example is the best way to share what true friendship is.
You're listening to Misadventures with Friends.
You kind of touched on something that we often ask our guest is, should your kids be aware of your friendships, and should you be aware of their friendships? Or is there a block of time in your life that they should and shouldn't? Or how do you look at that question?
Well, I think it's super important for us to share that example of friendship to our children. So when we can be around our adult friends and our children see that relationship of what true friendship is, or, when we're doing things for our friends and just sharing that with our children, and absolutely being, for us as parents, for sure, definitely want to know who our children's friends are, and, what their foundation is, who they are, and what kind of influence they're having, because you are either an influencer. I hate to use that word because it's so big on social media, but either you are the influencer in your friend group, or you are being influenced by your friend group. And so you've got to be real careful about who that is, where you're at in that perspective, and who is influencing you in that perspective. And so, I also tell her that, if you are the influencer, are you showing love? Are you showing respect? Are you showing things, those important things? We talked a little bit. She had said that a friend, they always joke with each other and call each other names and cut each other down a little bit. And I said, well, is that really how you want to be as a person? Is that really being a good friend? I know you're joking and you're friends and you're teasing and you're picking, but is that really, when you lift people up, that's where you really grow those friendships. We call them, a good friend of mine, a business leader, that said, there's dome light people, where it's like when you get around certain people, you ever leave your car door open and your dome light stays on, it drains your battery. There are people who are dome light people, and then there are people who just lift you up and you feel so recharged when you're around them. And I love to be that recharge. And if I do encounter dome light people, I tend to just kind of slowly distance myself from that type of relationship. If I can't, and I would love to turn it around and be that positive, and be that uplifting person. But sometimes you just have to distance yourself a little bit. Whether it just be just a complete negative thought process or just a negative person, that just love them no matter what. But sometimes you do have to distance yourself.
Yeah, we do encounter those types of friendships that they start off great, and they slowly, as you said, become draining. And it's a tough call to want to cut it off real quick. Just go ahead and amputate that friendship, or try to salvage it. And it takes a lot of effort, a lot of prayer behind something like that, because you don't want to be hurt, but you also don't want to hurt the other person.
Absolutely.
Or people involved in the situation. Well, how do you, Paula, when you encounter people and you develop these friendships with people maybe you haven't known for very long, and you discover that you have really different ideas on values, or else you very quickly recognize that there are cultural or ethnic differences, maybe faith differences. What do you do with a friendship like that seems like it might be something to grow, but you're not sure?
I think for me, I'm going to love you no matter what. One of my children had friends that were of a different faith. And so we just encouraged them to learn. I was curious. I said, if you don't believe in Jesus, how does that work for you? And then, explain my faith and kind of open that door and still love them no matter what. And, I just personally just want to open that door. And if they walk in, that's fantastic. But I'm still going to love them. And I'm also just going to make sure I keep an eye on that influence on my children, because our faith is extremely important to us as a family. And so, again, just love and opening the door, and then also just keep an eye on how that affects my child. Or, obviously for my husband and I, we're not going to be swayed in our beliefs. So it doesn't have as much of an impact on us. We're going to love them no matter what. But the kids, we always keep real mindful. Real mindful that our oldest son kind of went through that. Someone who didn't believe in God and just believed in Mother Earth and nature and things like that. And they had a really close relationship. And so we just kind of help remind them and steer them, that even though this person is very important in your life, know where the foundation is. And you can love that person, and you can, continue that friendship, and, but just be the influencer, or don't be influenced by that.
Yeah. It's staying grounded. Sometimes I've encountered people who are so grounded in either their faith or let's take faith out of the picture. So grounded in their culture and in their moral box of beliefs, that it's almost like they've got headphones on, sound canceling headphones, and that's it. So, how do you reach into somebody, you think, I can learn from this person, I can grow from this person, I'm interested in them. I'm not trying to proselytize. I just want to be their friend and find out more about them. But they don't want to know anything about me. And there's roadblocks to that. And it's weird that we will be drawn to people like that.
Yeah, it is. We've got in a volunteer organization, you find lots of people. I mean, it could be things on gun control. I mean, some people are way over here and others are way over here. And I just had this chat with my daughter the other day, because she's got friends who are totally opposed. And I said, well, which has an influence on her. And I'm like, well, I think you wouldn't be afraid. I think your friends may not be so firm on that.
Closed off too.
Closed-minded.
Yeah.
If they weren't afraid. I think a lot of that comes from fear too, in that, at least that specific thing. But I think, again, just approaching every situation with love. And if there are certain things that we just cannot agree on, when it becomes a moral decision, well, that kind of, that there is a line. And then those people you just can't continue to develop that relationship with. But, like on a situation with, like gun control, you might just love them and see where it goes. But obviously there's a lot of hot topics out there. And I think it really, if the relationship causes you more stress than joy, then you definitely, it's time to just kind of slowly walk away from that.
And it used to be that you would encounter differences of these sorts only in a workplace situation, or in an external social situation, like, meeting up at a friend's house with their other friends and that you didn't know and stuff like that. So it was not as broad a topic. And we didn't, the, general daily routine and day-to-day and raising kids and stuff like that, you didn't run into those kind of issues. I don't know, maybe it's just because you only saw other adults when you were in the school pickup line or at a PTA meeting. So that was it. And then you get into the workplace and you find big differences. So what about friendships in the workplace? What's your opinion on that?
I love them. I don't work in a traditional office anymore, but one of my really, my goodness, some of my really longest and greatest friendships have come from workplace. And even though we no longer work together, that friendship stands strong. And I think, again, it's that connection, because I worked with a lot of people through the years, and some people I've never talked to again. But then there's some people that we've just kept those friendships on, and that's where that foundation, that connection comes from. But I love workplace friendships. Some of my greatest friendships have come from there. And again, I think it all boils down to same thing at camp. When you find your people, even though you're at work, maybe doing the same thing, they may not be your people, but you might find a couple that are. And I've got a couple friends that are like that.
Yeah, I treasure some of the friendships I made when I was working in a corporate type atmosphere, even though I was remote, and I would go to visit headquarters periodically, or I had lots of Zoom meetings and Skype meetings and web, whatever the other one was. And I started to say WebMD. Sometimes it turned into a medical session. I got this pain here. But I treasure those friendships still. I may never have an opportunity to be face-to-face with them again. And I was only face-to-face with them usually once a year, just like at camp. Yeah. But I will always treasure those friendships. And I know I can always send them a quick text, or they'll send me one, or whatever, And that's a great thing to hold on to. We're going to transition a little bit. And not transition a little bit, we'll transition a lot here. And we'll go into our speed friending.
All right. I'm excited.
Ever seen anything on like speed dating and stuff like that?
Well, no. I'm heard of it.
Yeah, so one of my favorite episodes of the show Psych, and they do the speed dating thing, and they're all in this restaurant bar thing, and there's a bunch of people, and they pair them off, and they have quick questions they ask, and they have like 2 minutes to get to know the other person, and then they swap around and see if they click with anybody. And I think it's really funny because the primary characters in the show are actually trying to track down a killer, so it makes it even more fun, and weird. But we're going to take a little more time than 2 minutes. Play a little speed friending game, and I'll start with a question, and then you can see if you have any questions for me, and we'll go from there. First, I'm going to start off with Paula. What region of the country did you come from originally?
The Northeast.
The Northeast. Yes. I have a new friend developing here that is from a different part of the country from I am. Sometimes that's a sticking point with Southerners, especially.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, get over it. Northeasterner. So when we say the nor'easter's coming in, nor'easter's going to blow in. Okay. Well, in regards to that question, I'll just take it to another question. How did you end up in the area that you're in now?
The Marine Corps. I served 10 years in the Marine Corps. And my entire service career has been in the South. So I'm
safely
I'm a Southern
ensconced.
girl now.
Ask me another question before we run out of time, because we are limited here.
Have you traveled anywhere long distance from where you live?
Yes, I have. I have been to Great Britain, just in the London and vicinities, as far out as the county of Wiltshire and Oxford and, the whatever that big circle of stones is. What is that? Stonehenge.
Stonehenge.
Yeah. That vicinity. I have been to Canada, into the Quebec City and Montreal area. I have been to Costa Rica on mission trip, and I have been to the Philippines on a mission trip. And I think that's it. I have been in this country. I have been to spend any time as far west as Texas a couple of times. I spent a layover in California. Sitting in the airport waiting on flights, and then had 30 minutes in Hawaii on the way to the Philippines and 30 minutes on the way back from the Philippines. One was at midnight, so nothing was open. Couldn't even get any kishy stuff from the shops then because they were all closed. And the next time was at 12 noon on a Sunday and everything was closed. So that was my Hawaiian vacation, a whole hour.
Oh, wow, I love it.
In 2 segments, 3 weeks apart. Okay, next question. How long have you been married?
We have been married for 23 years.
Okay. How many kids?
My best friend in the whole world. We have 3.
3 kids, okay.
2 boys and a girl.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Two boys and a girl. The boy, girl is the way it went.
Yep,
and we've been married 37 years.
Awesome. I love it.
Yay. Question. Let me see if I can come up with another question. This is terrible. I just, I'm not asking a whole lot of questions, but I do feel like I know you. We had that common interest in camp. And it's funny how that kind of just bonds people together, and you just feel comfortable knowing that, have that common interest. So, yeah, okay. I asked the last question. Your turn.
Okay, my turn. What has been the most rewarding volunteer experience you've ever had?
Oh, good grief. You come up with good questions. I'm not thinking on the fly very well this morning. Not enough coffee yet. In the organization that we're in, I spent 13 years, I think it was, working directly with a local clump of we call them troop of girls, and thoroughly enjoyed that and the friendships that I developed through that. Have been long-term friendships. Mm-hmm. And then 14 years with the camp, on camp staff. So, I enjoyed it so much that when an opportunity to work for the organization came around, I applied and remarkably got the job and worked nationally for the national organization for almost 9 years, developing programs and curriculum and writing and stuff like that. So I used to say I did that organization 24/7.
Yeah.
Because it was on the national level, it was on the local level, it was camp. And so I was all consumed with it. Whether that was healthy or not is debatable, but it was all consuming. It really was.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I would agree that I think camp and volunteering at camp, I mean, I think children today need that experience more than ever. But there's just something special about camp and being there and being a volunteer at camp. That's probably a favorite. But the organization that we volunteer with is unbelievable. I love seeing the girls grow, especially. I think my favorite one was a girl who came in not quite middle school age, super, super, super shy. And to see her grow and complete the top achievement and to speak to a room full of families, adults, parents, to know how shy she was and to see her grow into a leader, that is probably the most rewarding thing I've ever experienced.
Well, of being involved in the organization so deeply and so long, that was just an amazing thing for me to watch, because I worked so closely with the top award program to the point where I restructured some of it and developed it a little bit deeper and grew it. And when I went in, there were like 45 recipients of the top award, and now there are over 1,000. I mean, to me, that's just remarkable growth. And to see the girls locally or at camp who stepped out of their comfort zone to get into this kind of a leadership role. And camp did that for me. Camp allowed me to step out of my reserved, shy, quiet. Nobody believes it, but yes.
I know. I'll be honest.
and step into a leadership role that where I could have a positive influence. And that's such a neat feeling. I don't think it's a pride thing. I think it's just a happy feeling of accomplishment. Absolutely.
Knowing you've made a difference in someone's life, that's immeasurable.
Yeah, it really is. All right, we're about to hit our 2-minute warning. So,
all right.
If we're going to go for a field goal or touchdown, we need to decide. This has been fun just to kind of chat for a bit and share this chat with other people and try to get to know. Is there any other pressing, I gotta know question that you have?
I would love to know where you see yourself, whether it be helping with camp or anything else, or what's next for Ms. Mel?
What's next for Ms. Mel? I am of retirement age.
I love it.
And I'm currently, of all the odd and weird careers I've had in my life and jobs that I've had in my life, I am in one of the most rewarding right now, is in that someone has given me the honor of helping raise their children. I'm a nanny.
Yay!
So I take care of a 2.5-year-old and a 4-month-old. That's their ages at this time. And they're a handful sometimes. Yesterday I was dragging by the time I got home. But, I love them dearly, and I love their mom and dad like they are extra kids in my
wonderful.
family. I've known them for about 6 years or so. And then when I was between jobs and they had the first baby come, and they said, would you consider nannying? So I guess I've got job security for the next 6 years or so.
There you go.
Okay, we're running out of time. We've got less than a minute left, but let me say thank you to our new friend, Paula. I look forward to chatting with you again one day. Thank you for chatting with us today and sharing another Miz adventure with us. And thank you, friends, old and new, for journeying with us. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook or Instagram and become our friend. And now go make a friend and be a friend. And Paula, I say goodbye.
Thank you, friend.
Thank you.
All right,
Paula.
thank you. I look forward to chatting with you again.
Yeah, let's do it again. Really
Okay.
think about more questions. All right. See ya.
The great thing about new friends is that they bring new energy to your soul. Shauna Rodriguez.
Misadventures with Friends is a production of Depot Street Studios and Rocket 88 Broadcasting. Music is from Storyblocks.com.